want to talk a little bit about the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire and the Phil Miller Prize, which is actually now expanded into a few more parts. Initially, Jeremy Price, head of the jazz, was looking to try and set up a solo guitar prize, which we did an initial run, but the only problem was we didn't really play much of Phil's music. So the development of that is that one of the tasks is for students is to have a look at playing some of Phil's music, which I've spent some time arranging and doing masterclasses on. So this is essentially the idea of the purpose of this, which is expanded now into both the idea that Herm came up with having a duo prize, because of course I played lots of duo work with Phil, the great duo Phil did with a lot of his music, Double Up 1, which now there is going to be a follow-up to, Double Up 2, which Herm discovered the master tape somewhere in the vaults of Phil's belongings, and thank goodness they were retrieved, the ADATs, and our friend Benji Lefevre got involved again and put all his magic time into mastering these wonderful pieces and editing beyond the call of duty. So we now have Double Up 2, which has been ready for a couple of years, but due to COVID we've not actually put it out because we've not been able to do any marketing or promotion for it. So hopefully in the near future we'll be out doing a little bit of that with some guest artists taking part as well. And the next idea that came up, which grew out of this, was to have a band idea, to get a full band playing Phil's music. So that could be anything from the early days, but in particular all the In Cahoots work over the years, which has expanded. Sometimes Phil's had it with trombone in it as well, so it makes a nice kind of 10-piece, or we could even expand that into a bigger band, but depending on how many players get to do it in the future, chosen out some of the best players at the Conservatoire. And to finance all this, from Phil's legacy, great guy Robin Leonard, who's head of dealing with all this stuff, suggested to him that it was put into some kind of account that would generate something for the university. So it's going to be a permanent thing for the future, that we can keep this prize money going for as long as the future is. And also Pedro, who looks after the archives at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire, suggested that we get as much of Phil's music that we could find, all the hard scores, which in fact I spent some time with him, spending weeks going through it, trying to find parts from all different eras and trying to correlate it together. And again, some rare tapes and his hard drives with all this stuff on his computer, so the music is going to be archived at the Conservatoire for the future of all the students, and for anybody else in fact who wants to look at it. In fact, particularly some master's students who maybe want to do some serious study on Phil's music, it'd be a really great eye-opener. The big thing with having all this music archives, it means you'll be able to choose some of the music from out of that for anybody studying it to do the prizes. And also for myself to run the band. The intention is that I'm going to be able to run the band, so it's going to be like a rehearsal band of Phil's music, and have it as a live performance. As I say, the big thing is we're going to have a night of Phil's music at the Conservatoire in the jazz club, East Side Jazz Club. So hopefully the end of the year, or the college year, which is in June time, that's where we'll have the prizes and the concert, so celebrating Phil's music. And what you see around me is these lovely paintings that Herm has done over the lockdown, and it represents a lot of times of Phil from his early days right through to later days. So the idea is that we're going to hopefully have those around the club as representation, and maybe suggested another time, and maybe some other exhibitions as well, particularly if we do some live launches for doing the duo album. That's my hope, which I hope we'll get some people like John Etheridge and Doug Boyle who've expressed an interest in helping me, plus a few other people, so you'll have to watch this space for that one. But anyway, that's the main things to do with the college and what we're trying to do with the concert dedicated to Phil's music. Also, one thing is people can actually use this music anytime they want, for particularly for education purposes. If they want to use it for performances, or just in general playing it live, so that the music lives through another generation, as it were. I've been doing masterclasses on this stuff online, for going through quite a lot of Phil's music in detail. In fact, there's a lot more I've got to do yet, particularly the bass tunes. I promise there will be more of those coming up in the near future. The fantastic bass pieces Phil wrote for me, and this is all going to be available to listen to, some on the next album, plus all the last albums, all there to be listened to. So there's the masterclasses, which obviously students have got access to go through, and I'll be presenting various masterclasses at the Conservatoire anyway, to go through various aspects of Phil's music, and well, playing it in all its different forms. So this is the road to the future, and after all this period of lockdown, we can see we've not been exactly lazy. So and to top that, more recently after lockdown, I'm sure some people have probably been aware in the kind of music business that I was asked to join the Soft Machine when they started working again live, which is great for me, as I played with them some years ago, but to play now, and with the backing of old friend Roy Babington, who unfortunately has had a hand problem for quite a number of years, and he told me about it some time ago, but he's kept playing wonderfully ever since. But he's getting too much, and a bass player needs to have all his fingers, I think, a lot of the time to play a lot of this music. But it's been a great thing to be invited by John and Theo to join us off, so I'm looking forward to seeing people on the next tour, and whatever else comes up in the future.